Okay, so at the beginning of this year, I wrote down a list of goals that I wanted to accomplish in this year. Kind of like, um, a bit like New Year's resolutions. But the point wasn't really so much that I was going to accomplish everything in the goals. It was more just to give me an idea of like, what does a good year look like? What does a good 2024 look like? And I wrote down all manner of things. I did a video on this channel. You can go check it out if you're interested. But one of the things I put down on this list was to be better at meditating, because I realised that I'd done a lot of meditating in the past. I've done Medito and I'd done Headspace with it, and all this stuff, and I got very consistent with it for a very long time. Like, period about 6 months, I was doing it every day. However, I wasn't really getting any benefit from it, despite how long I was doing it for and how consistent I was. And this was a bit frustrating to me. And there's all kind of reasons why that is, but people always talk about meditation and like the benefits it can give you and stuff. And I just felt a bit left out. I felt I'd like to get these benefits. And, I didn't really have like a plan of how I was going to get better at meditating, but I just thought, okay, in an ideal world, I would like to get better at meditating, So I just put it down on the list. And maybe it's a coincidence, but a few months later, when I moved to Oxford, I saw loads of posters for a meditation class with this, like, by the looks of things, like quite a well-renowned meditation specialist for free. So I thought this was like a sign, and I signed up to this course, and I went to one of the sessions, and it was this quite tall guy who was just had been a student at Oxford, and he just got really interested in meditation and stayed there, and just taught meditation basically. And we had a few meditation exercises, and he talked a bit about meditation. But to be honest, I don't want to be like sound sort of not open to meditation and stuff like that, but to be honest, I just felt like I was hearing the same old stuff that I'd always heard about meditation. I don't know about you, but I just constantly feel with meditation, people just kept saying like, oh, it's not about getting rid of anxiety and stuff like that. And it's not about getting rid of the thoughts, and just all this stuff that I just kept hearing. And anyway, to be honest, I found the whole thing a bit frustrating. And I went home that evening, and I remember talking to my housemate about it, and we had a bit of a laugh about how annoying these meditation lessons can sound like sometimes. It's a bit like, well, what is the point then? Like, if I'm not getting rid of, isn't that the whole point, getting rid of thoughts, And yeah, it just wound me off a bit. But anyway, this got me thinking a lot about meditation, and what I realised is a question I've never really asked myself before, is like, why do I actually want to get good at meditation? Even the notion of like getting good at meditation is a bit of a weird one, and it's probably not a very good way to think about it, but yeah, I was curious to think like, why do I want to get good at meditation? And the first things that really came to mind to me were, I want to get better sleep, and mindfulness is a big aspect with sleep, and I want to be more focused. I want to be able to focus for longer, and I want to be more present. It's that kind of stuff, right? And what I realised is that I didn't have like a clear image of what I wanted. I had a few things, but there was no really like crystal clear image of where I wanted to get to with meditation. And that wasn't the same with a lot of my goals. When I started going to the gym, I had a very clear image. I wanted to get in better shape. I wanted to put on more muscle mass. I wanted my body to look more aesthetic. You know, at the moment, I'm very into posture correction stuff, you know, stretching and yoga, and I have a very clear goal. You know, my goal isn't to like get good at stretching, you know, or get good at going to the gym. You know, my goal is to have better posture. You know, starting an online business. Why do you want to start an online business? Because you want to, maybe you want to travel, you want to make lots of money, you know, you have the business you're doing, you have a really passionate like mission behind it, you know. Most goals, and the ones that are most successful, you have a clear idea of what you want out of it. You know, same thing with talking to women. If you don't have a clear goal in mind, you know, if you don't think like, I want to either sleep with this girl or, you know, be in a relationship with her, whatever. If you're just kind of texting a girl aimlessly, it never goes anywhere, you know. You need to have a goal behind your action, the actions that you're doing. And so it's the exact same with meditation. I realised I didn't really have a clear image behind meditation. It was just, I'd heard all this stuff about, oh, meditation is good for your sleep, meditation is good for your focus, blah, blah, all this stuff. And it's coming with this kind of craze with all these apps and stuff like that. And, you know, it seems quite a cool thing to do. And there's lots of scientific research and whatever about meditation. But the trouble is, you can fall into a bit of an abundance mentality with meditation, where you just hear like a bunch of reasons why it's good for you, and you just kind of do it for all those reasons. And this is exactly what happened to me. Like, I just heard all this good stuff about meditation, but there was no real clear idea why I was doing it. And this is quite problematic, and especially with the whole the kind of meditation that you're taught, like on these apps and stuff like that, where it's just very simple breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and like focusing on the breath and stuff like that. That kind of meditation in particular, it's only good for certain things, you know. And basically, my impression is, if we're talking about that classic form of meditation that you get taught on Headspace or on Medita or whatever, that meditation is best if you want to have a profound experience with the present moment, and quite a spiritual experience, you know. That's the main reason why you should meditate in that particular way, because it's what it's best for. And I'm not knocking that as a goal. If that is your goal, you wanna get a really spiritual, profound connection with the present moment, that's the best bet, and meditate with that intention in mind. But the trouble is, if you ask most people why they meditate, how many people say that? You know, not very many, right? Most people say like, oh, pretty much what I said, like, oh, I want to be more present, and oh, I heard it's good for your sleep, and it's downplays your cortisol and stuff like that. And just all this stuff that we kind of heard about meditation, and it's a bit of a mess. Imagine if you talked about like your business like that, or your gym workout like that. It's like, no, you have clear ideas for all this stuff, and that's how it allows you to get you done. And all these other benefits that meditation gives you, like better sleep, like good focus, or, you know, whatever it is, they can come about from meditation, but it's not the best ROI activity if that is just your goal. You know, if your goal is just to get good sleep, and you can only do one activity to improve your sleep, I don't think meditation is the best one to do. I think there are so many other factors at play. No, it might be, but there's a much more likelihood that it's something physiological. You know, have you got good posture? Is your spine able to detoxify all the toxins in your body when you're sleeping? Or, you know, what's your sleep environment like? Stuff like that. Or if you want to have good focus, you know, what's your diet like? That's an enormous one, you know. Just finding a diet that doesn't give you brain fog, basically. I think there's much higher ROI to invest in this kind of stuff, rather than focusing on meditation, because at the end of the day, meditation is like, you can't really, I don't believe you can nor should separate it from the spiritual aspect. It is a spiritual practice at the end of the day, and like, it's difficult because I feel like we've kind of made meditation into this very kind of scientific thing, because we're a very scientific world and we don't really believe in any kind of spirituality. We're a very spiritually dead society. But the truth is, that's just how it is. Meditation is a spiritual practice. And the benefits of it, the main benefits really, go beyond the sort of physical things that we care about in this world, you know. Like, imagine, for example, you wanted to improve your leg strength. You wanted your legs to be stronger. Now, you know, if you were to run a marathon, in theory, like, I don't know, like, I'm not a sports scientist or whatever, but in theory, your legs would get stronger if you ran a marathon, right? They'd adapt to the strain they're being put under, and, they get stronger, right? That's fairly easy to understand. But if you were going to run a marathon and someone asked you why you're running a marathon, and you said, oh, to get my legs stronger, that would seem like a silly method, because there are so many other, like, bigger things you get from running a marathon, and there are easier ways to improve your leg strength. You know, if you went to a PT and said, oh, I want to improve my leg strength, which I'm sure happens very rarely to a PC, but if it were to happen, the PC wouldn't suggest for you to run a marathon. He'd say, oh, let's work on your squat, let's work on your leg press, or whatever. And I feel like there's a similar analogy there. You know, if you're running a marathon, you should do it because you want to have an ego-burning experience where you have to break through, you know, really endure like a high level of pain for a long period of time, or because you just love running, or, you know, you want to improve your cardio, or there's some cause that you're running for, you know, you're raising money or something like that. You get these things in an abundance, you know, in a much higher amount when you're running a marathon, but you don't. So it makes sense to do it for that reason. But no, leg strength doesn't, obviously, right? Okay. And yeah, so this is what I realised with meditation. It's like, yeah, why do I want to meditate? And just to be clear, like, I do think developing a profound sense of, like, connection with the present moment is probably, like, the best thing that we can do. And if you have an authentic desire to truly, like, connect to the present moment, then meditation is, like, the best way you can do that. But, you know, you want to really think, like, what do you really want out of this world? And, you know, what's really important to you? And forge your goals around that. And for me at the moment, I think my goal is not to forge, like, a profound sense of connection with the present moment. Now, maybe it should be. Maybe I should be more concerned with, you know, connecting with the present moment. But if I journal and I, like, think about my goals, and what gets me really excited, it is stuff like improving sleep, like just getting really deep sleep and just waking up feeling so, like, you're just ready to go and you're not groggy and you know, you're super productive. It is, you know, being more focused. It's other things, you know. And I just think for so long I was kind of meditating because I thought in some way, like, oh, it's going to help my I remember I used to think, like, oh, meditation is going to help me because it's going to improve my chat with like girls, because it's going to mean I'm more present in the moment when I'm talking to them. And it's like, no, if you want to improve your chat with girls, just talk to more girls, you know. Like, maybe on some microscopic level it will help, but it's so small that it's just not worth the time when there are quicker ways to improve that goal, you know. But then at the same time I'd be like, oh, but it's also going to help my, you know, my studying or my business, you know. But then it's also going to help my sleep, and, you know, and it's like, I'm not saying it doesn't help all these things in, like, a small degree, but if you were just doing it for that reason, you'd be a fucking idiot, because you can invest your time in much more productive ways and get like 100 times the results. So yeah, that's my perspective on meditation. But I do want to caveat some of this, because I do still do some mindfulness practices that are really helpful. I do think like we should extend what we see as meditation a bit more broadly, because I do think having some kind of mindfulness practice is very important. And so I'm going to talk about things that I do. So one of the things I do is I journal my thoughts. And literally, this is very similar to like mindfulness meditation, where I'll sit there with a pad of paper, and every time I think a thought, and it kind of speaks to me to write it down. I feel compelled to write it down, because that thought feels kind of useful in some sense. It feels important. I will write it down, and I'll just sort of keep doing this basically. And this is really helpful. Really helps me to like make sense of my thoughts, because I'm someone who just gets, honestly, the amount of thoughts I get is, I know everyone gets lots of thoughts, but like I really do have trouble sort of sourcing out my thoughts a lot of the time. I get very confused like by my motivations. I feel constantly drawn in different directions, and this practice really helps, because it just allows me to see my thoughts as they are, and I see the kind of logic behind them and the kind of disparity between what I feel and what I think, So that's really good. And the thing is, like, I can meditate for half an hour and feel like, oh, was that worth it? Was it not? I don't really know. But I can do a journaling session for half an hour and I feel fantastic. I'm so glad I did that. That definitely helps. So that's one thing I do. And the other thing I do is just breathing exercises. So the only breathing exercise I do that really helps, actually I do two, but the main one I do that helps is the Wim Hof breathing, which you can go look up. It's for free on YouTube, but it's basically just, you do lots of hyperventilating followed by extended breath holds. And it's good to do if you want to sort of practice taking cold showers, because it does all this weird stuff with your body that sort of hypes it up for cold water. But it's also really therapeutic if you want to sort of calm down and reset. So I do that, and you can go into some very relaxed states through that, and it's really, really powerful. And again, I can do that for half an hour, and I'll feel something. I'll really feel like, yeah, that was worth it. I feel a lot more calmer. I feel a lot more in tune with my body now. That was worth it. I can do the same thing with meditation, and I feel slightly less sure about whether it's worth it or not. And the other one I do is just this sort of, I think it's this old, very, very ancient breathing technique from India, which Carl Ran talks about in one of his videos, where you basically just hold one nostril, and you sort of breathe in through it, and you hold the other one, and you breathe out of it, and you breathe in again. So you see what I mean? You just take it in turns, breathing through each nostril basically. And it's mainly good just to like clear out dust and stuff in your nose, so you can breathe through your nose much more easily. But it does relax you a lot as well. It's like very therapeutic. I'm trying to think what the video is. I think it's like his esoteric breathing guide. If you check that out, it's a really good video. And that's what I do. And again, I feel something when I do it. It's like, yeah, that was worth my time. I think a big thing with self-improvement, really, like I keep saying this in my videos, but I really want to reiterate it, is you want to be getting results at some point in your habit. Don't fall into this trap of just blindly doing self-improvement habits because you feel like they kind of work. I think it's much better to just do a few habits that really work, because I feel like, admit it, we've all done habits that don't really work. Like, for a long time, I was really disciplined about like getting sunlight and stuff like that. And I still do go outside and try and get sunlight, and it does feel good. I do enjoy doing it. But I realised that it wasn't like the most high ROI activity. I didn't actually feel like it really had like a dramatic impact on how I felt. So I stopped doing it. But, a cold shower, a run, stretching, going to the gym, all this stuff had a profound impact on how I felt. So I've decided it's better just to invest in stuff where I know I'm going to see a return on investment. And it's the exact same thing with meditation, I think. Invest in types of meditation that align with your goals, first of all, And second of all, make sure you're seeing the result of your investment, because our time is valuable, guys. Our time is valuable, and you know, you haven't got time to waste your time on a bunch of self-improvement stuff that you don't feel like it's really helping. So anyway, that's my take on meditation. Thank you for watching, and I am doing some more coaching at the moment. So if you click top link in the description, you can book a free call with me. If you think you're a good fit, we can do like a one-on-one call, talk about your goals, stuff like that. And yeah, so that's there. But apart from that, I will see you in the next video.